Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of That Park Place Midweek Magic. I am Marvin, the movie monster Montanero. I'm the editor-in-chief of a little website called That Park Place, and I am joined as always by my good friend and colleague from the Vash Sky Parkcast, Mr. Vash Sky.
Thank you so much for having me on, Marvin. I cannot wait to get into some amazing stories, but man, there's been a lot going on over the last week, and I just hope we have enough show to cover as much of it as we can. Marvin, I know you've been tirelessly hunting down these stories and so forth, trying to get the show assembled, so that was a little bit, if we had a little bit of delay there, don't worry about it. Folks, we are bringing you the best show possible.
Absolutely, and that's why, because we're trying to bring you guys the best show possible. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get started when you're trying to bring the best show possible, trying to make sure we had the most up-to-date info on a couple of our stories for today. But first, Vash, before we dive into anything, Juliet with the £5 sterling saying evening, That Park Place, and chat evening to you as well, Juliet. We love having you here, and good to see you, my friend. All right, and we will take more of your super chats as we go along. But Vash, we've got a ton to get through today because Bluey went kablooey in Animal Kingdom this week, and we have got the story for you. So let's kick it off right now with our launch story. It was supposed to be a momentous day in Disney's Animal Kingdom where the kids' TV sensation Bluey arrived in Walt Disney World for the first time, but virtual queues and overcrowding made this a logistical nightmare. And we're going to talk about it today on That Park Place. Vash, Bluey, as you can see here from this article from Disney Dining, is causing chaos at Animal Kingdom. Not chaos, not typically a word that you associate with the Healer family, right?
No, not typically. That is for sure
adorable chaos. Like, oh, they're playing and it's gotten out of control, but like this is causing chaos. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. Well, no, I mean, and who could have predicted this, Marvin? Oh, wait, I think we did actually some months ago when they actually officially announced this. And we were all like, Animal Kingdom, probably the right park for this because obviously, that park only has 6 operational rides at the moment. However, the issue is where they were putting it. You're going to have some supply constraints there, and it looks like people, unfortunately, are experiencing that firsthand.
Well, this article here from Disney Dining by Erica Lauren says Bluey's Wild World opened at Disney's Animal Kingdom this morning, and the virtual queue situation played out exactly the way anyone who's lived through a major Walt Disney World opening day knew it would. Well, not every major Walt Disney World opening. We're going to talk about that in our Mandalorian segment because there were some things going on there. But the 7 a.m. drop filled in seconds, not minutes, seconds. Families with alarms set, apps open, and parties pre-selected found themselves staring at an unavailable screen before they had any real chance to react, Ash.
It was wild. It looks like 2 days in a row now, the same thing has occurred in which these virtual queues go live, one at 7 a.m. and then one at 10 a.m., and then they are immediately all absorbed by the guests who are actually there, which is a little bit surprising given the capacity limitations of Animal Kingdom overall. But I mean, we haven't really seen this since probably Rise of Resistance or some of those other big openings of attractions in years past. Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, for example, over there in Epcot. I mean, this is a big deal. And I don't know if it necessarily says something about the demand as much as it says something about the supply, but huge news indeed.
Well, we knew it was going to be a big demand. Bluey is the biggest thing in kids' entertainment right now. And the fact that Bluey is going to have a live experience like this, it was always going to draw massive crowds. How many of the people, Vash, how many of the parties do you think that were filling up these time slots and making it so that a lot of these families weren't able to go? How many of them were adults without children, do you think?
Oh boy. Well, based on the photos that I have seen, thankfully, it looks like there were plenty of families with children who were actually able to make it in. But I would suspect, I mean, you're probably talking about at least 20%, I would say, at least, looking to sign in to those virtual queues and actually getting in without children. Now, it's very interesting, Marvin, because we saw massive demand actually at Disneyland when that Bluey celebration actually took place over there in the Fantasyland Theater. That's that's like a real big show right there. It lasts for about anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes, which is actually a pretty long time for something like this. Yeah. So to stage this event here was an interesting choice for sure because of well, there's not really a large scale venue like the one offered at the Fantasyland Theater over there at Disneyland. And so it looks like the show itself has taken a little bit of a different tact with this with this kind of entertainment. But man, I think it would be much better served, Marvin, if it just had a theater, which unfortunately doesn't exist right now at Animal Kingdom.
Absolutely. Well, you look at this. What happened at 7 a.m., Vash? The 7 a.m. virtual queue drop is the more accessible of the two daily windows because guests don't need to be inside Animal Kingdom to join. Valid theme park admission and, where applicable, a park reservation are the only requirements that That low barrier, combined with an enormous pool of Bluey families hitting the app simultaneously, produced an instant sellout consistent with other high-demand openings at Walt Disney World. The demand for Bluey's Wild World has been building since the experience was announced, obviously. But what does the actual virtual queue cover? The Bluey's Wild World virtual queue is not just a boarding pass for a single show. It covers the full Rafiki's Planet Watch experience, which includes the Wildlife Express train from Harambe Station, Bluey's Wild World at Conservation Station, Jumping Junction, and the Animal Care experiences. Guests cannot board the Wildlife Express train without a virtual queue return time when the system is active. No standby queue currently exists, and the virtual queue is the only way in. Disney has confirmed it will remain the case for the foreseeable future. Now, the 10 a.m. window, Vash, that is the second and final opportunity to secure a boarding group. Two things differ here. You have to have valid park admission, just like the morning one, but you must be physically inside Animal Kingdom to join. So just being in the parking lot, at the resort, or at the gate does not qualify. You need to be through the gate and inside the park when the clock hits 10.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people were thinking, hey, maybe we have a better chance at the 10 a.m. showing because of that limitation that you have to actually be there in the park. Nay, they went almost just as fast as that 7 a.m. drop right there, which I think really surprised people like Blog Mickey, for example. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it is fascinating to me, these 10 a.m. drops, because you see it, and this is both Disney and Universal, when you're actually in the park trying to get these drops, it is just a avalanche of reactions all around you.
Absolutely.
Because you're getting the people that are going, no, and the people are going, oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes. So, it's a whole big thing. Over here at allears.net, Vash, they said, yikes, massive crowds hit New Disney's Animal Kingdom attraction. You see some of the crowds outside Conservation Station. Bluey's Wild World requires the virtual queue. They have a couple of other ones here. So here they are checking the checking your virtual queue to get onto the train there. And then look at this is exactly what I said it was, Vash. I said the second you step off that train, you are in line.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And
that's
so
not a short walk.
No, I mean, it's really tucked away back there, hidden back there. Now, I will say, for the train, they did update the audio in order to reflect this new Blue experience. It was a nice touch, but when you actually disembark from that train, just like you said, Marvin, it is backed up forever and a half, and things get more confusing once you actually get inside. But, I mean, I saw people waiting outside for 10 minutes, maybe even longer, which in the sun, with kids, that's very difficult for sure. But the entire wait itself could actually eclipse close to an hour or maybe even past that. So you're waiting quite a long time in order to see this very, intimate Bluey experience.
So, all ears here says, finally arriving at Bluey's Wild World, we immediately noticed that the virtual queue system seemed to be working well so far. The longest people were waiting outside the building was about the length of one show, which is about 14 minutes. When you're at the doors of the Conservation Station getting ready to go into the show, this is where you'll need to scan your park ticket to show your virtual queue reservation. So, okay, so you have to show it to get on the train and then show it again to get into Conservation Station, I guess?
Yes.
Just in case they snuck along the tracks or something?
Yeah. I guess it's like, okay, the first time you show the cast member, right, before the train, and that just, signifies that you are good for this time, your boarding group is good, all of that, and you can actually get on the train. But in order to scan that reservation and, well, make sure that you don't actually get in again, so that VQ is off, that's where you actually tap that at the station inside, right? Yeah, so that just redeems it. Then now you're moving on. So I think that's the process.
This is interesting here. It says, this is where you scan your park ticket, show your virtual queue reservation. That's when your virtual queue is considered redeemed. Keep that in mind when planning to head over to the show. However, when we stepped out of our show, we saw how long the line had gotten. We realized that it's possible we just got lucky being so early in the day because they said they only waited 14 minutes. Vash, that ain't a 14-minute line.
No, not from there. I saw 10 minutes being posted with just the courtyard outside of Conservation Station, but when you have a line making it all the way back to the train, I don't think that's 14 minutes. I think it's a little bit longer right there, and that is added on to the 40 or 50 minutes that you might wait inside Conservation Station, which is also a very confusing process. And this is why I think Block Mickey characterized this as chaotic, because there's like a kind of a queue, then there's an on-deck station, and then there's actually the place in which you can actually experience this.
By the way, all of
show.
this stuff that's now a giant queue used to have activities and like things to learn about animals and things like that. Just wanted to point that out.
Yes, I mean, it's worth pointing out right there because, I mean, a lot of that is lost, unfortunately, with this whole redo.
Yep.
And the place in which they're having this experience actually take place is a very kind of acoustically not great place to be, especially with kids and screaming and all of that. You've got a lot of reflectivity in those hard surfaces right there, and so it's a very not just a chaotic space people wise, but also a caustic space acoustically for the year.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, All Ears is explaining you here. Once you're inside the building, you're held on one side of the room, sort of behind the show space, while a show is going on. We got there about 5 minutes before ours ended, and they took about 5 minutes to cycle people out of the show space and cycle new people in before starting the show again. Again, we learned soon after, though, that this began causing issues in the group after us as more and more people began to show up. They were waiting much longer than we did. Look at all that. That is a lot of people. It says there's only about 100 people watching each show, and in our first experience, kids were encouraged to come to the front to sit. So they can really be involved in playing the 4 games: Magic Asparagus, Copycat Charades, Mom and Dad, and Keepy Uppy. And say hello to Bluey and Bingo. If you want to be closer to Bluey, you'll want to stay on the right side of the show. And if you want to be closer to Bingo, you want to be on the left. However, we then saw a change in how the show runs in front of our eyes. At our first, after our first reporter went in, our second reporter was in the show just after them and noticed that cast members had tape on the ground and asked everyone to stand behind the tape. And then once the game started, they invited the kids forward. So that's interesting. Spoke to someone in line and told us it took them about an hour to get from the train to seeing the actual show. Not to mention, when you're held inside as the shows before you were going on, you can hear them, meaning that by the time you actually get to see the show itself, you've potentially heard the show 2 to 3 times. Oh, that's terrible.
Yep.
It's clear that this is still a work in progress. Cast members are figuring out what works best. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Vash. What were you saying?
No. There are these points which you can actually experience the show before you actually experience the show, right? Because there's this long kind of winding queue around the perimeter right there, as described in this article, and there's this kind of on-deck station and so forth. And then you actually see the show almost in the center of all this chaos right here, and it's honestly, I mean, why they chose this venue right here? Go ahead, please.
This is not a theater. It was never meant for this kind of thing. It was never meant to be a show. That's why people are hearing the show before they actually see the show. That's a disaster. Like, could you imagine if you heard The Untrainable Dragon before getting into the theater?
Yeah, that's no good. Don't like that. Yeah. Don't like it.
Nope, not at all.
This is not ideal.
So let's see some of these photos taken by Blog Mickey. We see here Bluey, I'm assuming, or not, the dad.
If you click on any one of those photos, you should have a slideshow.
Oh, okay, good. Here we go. All right, so this is the virtual queue system. All right, that's Conservation Station. I like the little Bluey sign they put up there. That's cute.
Right. And it kind of looks hand-painted as if the villagers actually did it themselves, which is nice. Yeah.
Just take these African villagers who are worried about like having water and taking time to paint Bluey on things.
Well,
here we go. Outside, there's the queue outside. And then we've got inside. Look at that. That is chaos to me.
Yeah. I mean,
even with the virtual
it is absolutely
queue.
Wild.
Oh my gosh. I didn't realize it was this bad. Look at this. Queue, show on deck, active show.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Madonna me.
Yeah, I mean, and if you come upon this, I mean, obviously those labels aren't going to be there. How do you even know where to actually go? I mean, I'm sure they funnel you in these places, but this kind of onboarding experience right here, I'm sure a lot of parents with small children didn't necessarily sign up for when they enrolled in that virtual queue, and we're happy to get it.
Okay. Wow. Look at this, Vash. Look at this. On deck
It's crazy. It's insane.
Queue.
And it's very loud in there. That's the thing.
I can imagine. This is not a space that was made for loud noises. This was the place that the animals went to get surgical procedures done.
Yes, indeed. And so they apparently there has been an acclimation period with some of those animals backstage. Not all of them are ready to be on show because they're having to acclimate them to the environment that is produced from within this space.
Fascinating. All right, so here we got some more. Here come the characters.
Sure. And then you'll see what it looks like when you're at the back of this thing.
Oh my goodness. There. Just a sea of humanity. Sounds like my darkest hell.
Yeah, so 4K, I mean, and it's not even raised too. So if you have little ones right there, how are they even supposed to see what's actually in front of them if you're in the back right there?
Well, right, and then if you put your kids on your shoulders, an infantilized adult behind you is going to get mad and cry.
yeah, then you're that guy, right? Like the fireworks.
Yeah, there's the God, and they're involving asparagus. I hate asparagus. All right, so here's the lonely medical area over here. Probably not being used anymore.
No.
Okay, they do still have the reptiles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's over there.
Nobody's over there, and apparently there are Australian animals outside that they're setting up currently with like koalas and other marsupials, obviously from that region, kangaroos and so forth. The problem is like not every one of those is ready, so it's kind of half baked there, and then you have this very caustic experience inside. So again, I as far as leveraging the Bluey brand goes, I just don't think this was optimum.
Probably not. And so those of you are probably wondering, though, that was just opening day. Opening days are always like crazy. Well, not all opening days. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what was day 2 like? Bluey's Wild World virtual queue hits capacity in seconds again on day 2. This from www.magic.com. Virtual queue for Bluey's Wild World Conservation Station filled in approximately 2 seconds again this morning, with 7 a.m. drop reaching capacity almost instantly for the second consecutive day. So they give, these are the tips that they give. Open the My Disney Experience app and navigate to the virtual queue before 7 a.m. Ensure valid admission is linked to your account. Add all members of your party to your friends and family list in advance. Have the join button ready to tap at exactly 7 a.m. If the 7 a.m. drop is gone, be inside Animal Kingdom at 10 a.m. so that you can be disappointed all over again. So there you go, Vash.
Like a fantastic experience. Yeah. I mean, it's this is so tough. And it's the park that needed it, right? One could say, well, why didn't you put in another park? This is the one that needed this attraction the most. And
I agree. Like they were like, look, we've got a lot of construction walls up. Everyone's like really frustrated. What if we could find a way to make people even more frustrated and make children cry at the same time?
Bluey Wild Adventure there, or Bluey's Wild World. That's how we do it. The other thing too, Marvin, is people might be asking, okay, well, why didn't they actually place this anywhere else? And to be honest, where would you place something like this? The only thing I can really think of is maybe the Nemo Theater, right? But obviously those puppeteers and everybody else are in contract, and I don't necessarily like the idea of losing a show for another one. So this park needed to add capacity, not replace it. This was really the only venue that you could possibly have for this. And it would have been great if they would have built maybe like a temporary tent or temporary stage set up somewhere. Perhaps maybe add some shade canopies to the area around the old, Rivers of Light area, right? Where they used to have kite tails and so forth. I understand the performers would need an area in which to prepare for that. That's a name I haven't
heard in a long time.
Exactly.
Sorry,
I mean, maybe you could do something like that there, but to actually put it back in this venue, I mean, this, it really just underscores how desperately this park requires infrastructure. And having the train be your capacity limitation on this is a really big disappointment, because obviously they can only get so many people back there so regularly, with that train in place being the only way to get back to this location right here. So I just think, yes, it's the park that needed. Yes, this was the right franchise, but just the wrong spot. I mean, of course this place was going to get overrun if we know anything from the visitor habits that we've actually seen with annual pass holders over there at Disneyland in the Fantasyland Theater.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, we are going to see, if you are planning to try to catch Bluey with your kids, be prepared, because your entire day may go kablooey.
Nice.
Texas, by the way, say it, but are there Bluey adult beverages? That would be something, wouldn't it? If like, you
would
get
be
to the
something.
Bluey area, and of course there's a bar, like, because why wouldn't there be?
It's perfect Disney right there. There is a sipper and there is merch, but no bar yet.
It's just, by the way, Vash, our friend Justin Duchy out there gifting 10 That Park Place memberships. Thank you so much, Justin Duchy. That is cool. Incredible.
Every time a membership is gifted, a content creator gets his wings.
Was that gendered language?
We're not at Magic Kingdom, Dad.
Thank you very much, Justin Duchy, and congrats to everybody who got that gifted membership. Vash, I also wanted to say a thank you to our friend Ron Bradley from Follow the Bradley's Fun. He went on a little fact-finding mission for us. He went to Disney World the other day and rode the bus from Animal Kingdom Lodge to Magic Kingdom to try to see if he could hear Zippity Doodah on the loop. He did not hear it, though.
Oh, man.
But then again, he said he probably didn't hear the full thing. So we are still trying to figure out if this is actually a thing that is back or if that was an anomaly or whatnot. But yeah, and thank you very, very much, Just Dutchy. You are incredible.
Thank you,
Ken Reinhardt,
for that.
Ken Reinhardt for 2 says, we call that a fuster cluck in these parts. Just trying to make sure that I am saying that correctly for YouTube. But yeah, Vash, gosh, there. Have you seen The Mandalorian and Grogu yet?
I have not seen the film. No, I know quite a bit about it though. I've kind of read a synopsis and so forth, and I've read just about all I can in order to get to determine why people actually resonated with the film, why they didn't, and so forth. And I've been studying those box office numbers very, very closely. So I can speak with a little bit of authority, but unfortunately I have not seen the film personally.
Well, it's going to be our next big story here, Vash, because we are going to show you not only what's going on in Galaxy's Edge, or not to show what's going on at the movie theaters, but what's going on at Disney's Galaxy's Edge. Stay tuned, guys, because we got Mandalorian news coming at you next. I accidentally closed the screen share. All right, got it. Cool. All right, we've got it coming at you right now.
There we go. One more for the top. Triple decker, just how you like it.
Wow, thanks, Mr. Walt.
You enjoy it.
We will.
The Mandalorian and Grogu is a huge box office success, right? No, not right. Despite the fact that people have been claiming for days that The Mandalorian and Grogu exceeded $100 million in its opening bow for the Memorial Day weekend holiday 4-day corridor, it unfortunately did not. And not only did The Mandalorian fail to draw the crowds over there at the movie theaters, but it also failed to draw the crowds in Disney's Hollywood studios. And we've got the footage to prove it. Let's talk about it today on That Park Place. Vash, this movie is not doing well.
You don't think so, huh?
No.
It's really interesting. I think Luis Fernando over there on Twitter, who is, been tracking box office for all kinds of films for the last few years now. He was tracking it. Actually, he was tracking it alongside the historical numbers for Solo, which is, the thing that this movie is often compared to. And they were very close initially. But it's very interesting, Marvin, when you actually look at the weekday totals from Monday, Tuesday, etc., the drop-off has actually been more considerable than Solo back in 2018. And again, if we adjust those for inflation, well, those numbers look really, really bad.
Really bad. Yeah, let's take a look at that right now. So this from thatparkplace.com, written by me just this morning. Mandalorian and Grogu initial box office numbers were wrong. Film failed to hit $100 million domestic in opening holiday weekend. After early industry projections suggested the Mandalorian and Grogu, Disney's latest Lucasfilm Star Wars release, would narrowly cross the $100 million mark domestically over the Memorial Day holiday frame. Updated box office totals now show the film came in below that milestone. So it made 81 million domestic over the traditional 3-day opening weekend, and 98 million across the full 4-day Memorial Day holiday, and 167 million worldwide. Now, Vash, this is actually worse than it says. If I can borrow a quote from our friend Lou, but it gets worse because Thursday previews for The Mandalorian and Grogu started as early as 2 p.m. in a lot of theaters. And I know because I went to a 2 p.m. showing. That's basically a full day in a movie theater for a weekday, which means Mandalorian and Grogu did not have a 4-day Hollywood weekend, Vash. It had a 5-day holiday weekend.
Oh, man, that is really, really tough. That is really, really, really bad. And, Texas A412 in the chat right there says China will get into 2 billion. He says as a joke, but if you actually look at those international numbers, Marvin, very interesting things happen because those have been way falling behind Solo. So it's kind of like
that's been the big disappointment for them. Is not only domestically is it failing, but like overseas, nobody cares.
Which is really, really surprising. I understand Star Wars has not been a huge international draw in the same way that maybe Marvel has historically. But still, I mean, to have that kind of fall off, even just from the last, 8 years or so when Solo was actually in theaters is really telling. And it might actually tell about the strength of this franchise, etc. And Marvin, it's very interesting. You're seeing the goalpost shift somewhat on this, right? Because now they're saying, oh, well, you can't compare it to, Solo or these other box office bombs because, well, there's so much merchandise revenue and there's so much theme park opportunity.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because never, ever, ever has that been a benchmark for theatrical success but the merch sales. I don't care about the merch sales. We're talking about box office. We're talking about what a movie is able to do, the cultural footprint. I don't care about merchandise sales or ad drops or whatever. Like, this is how you measure box office success with the actual box office. All of a sudden with this movie, almost like marching orders were sent out. Everybody was like, oh, but the merch sales. No, absolutely not. I don't care how many popcorn buckets you sell.
It's crazy how many people actually moved to that narrative as soon as these box office numbers came out. I think they were saying 102 versus Solo's 103, and people were saying, okay, this is the worst box office performer ever. Now it's less than 100 million, and as soon as those box office numbers were really well known, now it's like, okay, it's all about revenue potential with other mediums, and it's like, look, listen, this is measuring really these box office numbers, not just the numbers associated with this film, but really the enthusiasm for this sub franchise, right? And if your numbers keep going down, well, what is that going to do to your merch sales? Obviously, those are going to take a hit as well. We don't know how much, not yet, but I mean, I don't think there's any way to slice this to say that, oh, Disney's okay with these numbers. I don't think so. I don't know where people are really getting this from.
Absolutely not. And Vash, when you look at these numbers, look at Solo, A Star Wars Story. Now, this is the movie that was such a heinous bomb that it knocked Star Wars out of movie theaters for 7 years. That had 84.4 million domestically over 3 days. So that outdid it. 103 million domestic over the 4-day Memorial Day frame. That outdid it. Approximately 148 million worldwide. Now, that is lower than what The Mandalorian did. But that's without adjusting for inflation. If you're talking actual butts and seats, like we're talking actual cultural, cultural footprint here, like how many people actually went to see this? If you adjust Solo into 2026 dollars, you have 110 million domestic over 3 days, 135 over the 4-day holiday frame, and 193 to 195 worldwide. So that makes it even worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think in my math, I calculated anywhere between 20% at the low end to 70% at the high end when it comes to the adjustments for inflation, right? And the other thing, too, to add on to this as well is, Marvin, we know that there's more PLFs now than existed before. So, all those things have an effect on on this story of diminishing returns, diminishing enthusiasm. Look, Mandalorian and Grogu was the biggest thing since sliced bread within those first 2 seasons right here. What happened to this sub franchise to get it to below Solo status? That needs to be examined, and that really needs to be known right here, which I think a lot of outlets unfortunately are burying.
Yeah. Hold on. I want to try to find something here. Mandalorian crowds. Because do you remember when the Mandalorian and Grogu first started showing up, meeting and greeting in Galaxy's Edge, how many people crowded around him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, especially Walt Disney World, right? Because I mean, those crowds look massive.
Yep. Here, have a look at this. This is from Disney Tourist Blog. Look at all those people around Mando right there, right? Look at all those people around Mando. It was a mob scene every time he walked out. I mean, right? Like we had a ton of people. Look at all those people. So literally surrounding him. Vash,
this was just a few years ago.
Yeah. I want to show you now that this movie is coming out where it's supposed to be at an all-time high. I did a video blog for Park Hoppin', our good friends Park Hoppin', the Geeks and Gamers theme park channel with Jay and Krista and all them. So I do video blogs for them occasionally. So I want you to see what I saw in Galaxy's Edge. I'm going to play a little bit of it for you. So here's Galaxy's Edge. You can see the screen, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
The park was, well, guys, apparently, if you want to get away from the crowds, just come to Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge. Look at that. And now, here you go. I want to show you this for, the sake of, it's like, it is not an uncrowded day here.
Sure.
People,
absolutely.
there were quite a few people here. When you look at,
was this recorded within the Memorial Day weekend frame?
This was on Saturday on Memorial Day. So this is the day after they opened up the new Smuggler's Run on Friday, and this was the Saturday, the day right afterwards. There's a brand new Mandalorian and Grogu movie out, a brand new Mandalorian and Grogu theme park attraction, and a Mandalorian and Grogu character. And let's have a look here. There are not a lot of people in here. Just how empty is it over here? Well, 50 minutes right now for Rise of the Resistance. That is super low, super rare to find. Under an hour. This was, let me tell you also something, Vash. This is around 3:30 p.m.
Really?
It's like between 3 and 3:30 p.m. this footage was shot. So this is prime time in the parks. Under an hour on Rise of the Resistance. Memorial Day. Less than an hour, let alone a week like this, where everything is supposed to be Star Wars. Here comes Mando. Guys, look. Here he is. The Mandalorian and Grogu are actually here. There they are. Walking around. People are following. Well, maybe. I guess he's telling them that this is the way. Look, now they're going to do this. Now, you remember what the semicircle around the Mandalorian and Grogu looks like?
Correct.
It's supposed to look like this, right? It's supposed to look like this.
Right.
All right, take a look at what it looked like the weekend that this movie came out. Apparently, they're going to make a semicircle around him. Yep. Here's Grogu. Look at that. Yeah, so I just counted, I think fewer than 20 people lined up right here. I'm really surprised by that. That's pathetic.
At Walt Disney World.
This is Walt Disney World, where characters are mobbed.
Yeah. Disney can't be happy about any of this result right here. I mean, this is really, really bad for a new movie, new tie-ins. Obviously, the character, tied in directly with this whole release schedule here, and a walk-around character really should have quite a bit more, especially in a park like this, Walt Disney World and so forth, and to see that diminished enthusiasm right here on display as you so beautifully have filmed it. I can't see how Disney would be enthusiastic about what they actually saw and their feelings on the potential of the Star Wars franchise going forward.
Okay, so now take a look at now you figure what's like the main hub of Galaxy's Edge, right? It's the Millennium Falcon. That's where everyone's taking pictures. That's where everyone's going to hang out. That's where the new attraction is. So now here we go.
Down Millennium Falcon. People tend to crowd around that. Like I said, the park is not empty today. It is not a light day here at Walt Disney World, Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Here we go. We're walking up.
Oh my goodness, look.
Look at that.
Look.
Look at that, Vash.
That's insane. That is crazy. I mean,
I've never
even
seen
just
it.
for photos.
I've never seen it that empty. And then have a look. See at this. There's people waiting to get into the bar.
We got some folks over there, I guess, trying to get into the bar. Standby line for the new Mandalorian experience. 25 minutes.
I made sure to put the timestamp. This is 3:15 p.m. 25 minutes, Vash.
Insane. On Memorial Day weekend with this new upgrade right here. Marvin, did you know that Walt Disney Imagineering has been working on this new update for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on both coasts the last 18 months?
Good Lord.
18 months. Well, and I'm pretty sure they spent a nice, pretty penny on those GPUs and so forth for that upgrade. Obviously, we heard that they've upgraded the engine and so forth. More details coming shortly, I will say. But all that work, all that time, all that effort, and you didn't move the needle at all.
So this is the one bit of Mandalorian and Grogu food that they have in Hollywood Studios, other than the macaroons. Whereas Disneyland got like a whole Mando menu, and all Walt Disney World got was this noodle dish with pork belly in it. And to be fair, it's good. But we had the noodle dish. And then went back outside. It's about 4 p.m. at this point.
20 minutes. And the area around the Falcon at Smuggler's Run. I don't know if you can see it. It's
20 minutes.
I mean, this is a lot of work to get this update in there. I'm telling you. Disney went all out for this, as surprising as that might be to hear, and to have it not even register. I mean, nobody's interested. This is a ride experience that is completely interactive, completely immersive. It's very variable now, and to see nobody neither around Mandalorian and Grogu nor interested in their update for this, what was supposed to be a very signature attraction for this park, for this place. I mean, I don't know. Like, this is looking real bad.
Nobody here in the First Order area, by the way, which is now the Empire area in Disneyland. We had the Temu Stormtroopers came through, and then over here, just to like show everybody, like there wasn't anybody over here either. I do like.
Oh, go ahead.
But now go into Toy Story Land.
Mm-hmm.
And in Toy Story Land, that's the crowd. This is minutes later, Vash. Steps from Galaxy's Edge. Look at how many people are there in Toy Story Land.
Well, I mean, it has an attraction mix and an IP mix that might cater a little bit better for families. Obviously, there's a lot of recognizable architecture and paraphernalia strewn about right there. For whatever reason, it is more popular. And here's the other thing, Marvin, too. The same year that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opened, that was 2019, with Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, another attraction made its debut, that being Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure over there in Islands of Adventure, right? That ride is still so popular after 7 years, Marvin, that they're having to take off Express Pass, a service they just put on nearly a year ago, because of that astounding popularity. I mean, that's regularly a line that's in the triple digits. And here, with Smuggler's Run, with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, there's almost nobody there. I mean,
they couldn't even get Rise of the Resistance to an hour. It was 50 minutes.
I mean,
everyone says we're making this up. Like, here it is. Like, this is not live footage, but this is footage from Memorial Day weekend that I personally shot. So there's no deceptive angles happening here. I even do a couple 360s in the video just to show you how empty it is.
And look, maybe At Disneyland, you might have some similar numbers, right? Because obviously that's a larger annual pass holder base in which people go quite frequently. So with an attraction like Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, you kind of seen it, you kind of been there if you've been on it a couple times. And there's so many attractions in that park. It's like, okay, well, maybe it's not a high priority. In this park, you're talking about like what, Marvin? Probably 10 rides, thereabouts right there. It's not like an attraction heavy park. And obviously, this is a new update. You would think that people would be swarming this in order to see what's new and be the first ones there and all of that. We just didn't see that at all.
Well, so here's another angle for you, Vash. This park is Disney's summer 2026 movie season because you have The Mandalorian and Grogu and you have Toy Story 5. And there's nobody for Mandalorian and Grogu, and Toy Story Land is still packed. And right there, that's exactly what it is.
I don't know how you can look at any of this and go, okay, well, we're in a really good spot with this franchise. I know they're trying to craft Starfighter as this really big event picture. This is really the one that brings Star Wars back. But obviously, this would have, if anything, had an effect in which you actually build momentum even for that next movie. And here, with Star Wars Land in Disney Hollywood Studios, with a new ride, with a new movie, all of that coinciding, 18 months in the making, all of that, nothing. I mean, even Starfighter at this point is looking like, is anything going to turn this around?
Yeah, I honestly don't think even Ryan Gosling is enough to turn this around. But guys, Disney has got to be looking at the way they are marketing this, the way that they are pushing this, and just saying to themselves, this is not the way. Well, I just looked at the comments in the Park Hopping video. There are some people be like, this is disingenuous. There's people there. And I'm like, okay, well, when we say it's empty, we don't mean literally empty. Like, you should have been there on May the 4th. Like, well, okay, that's May the 4th. Like,
right.
That's like a merch drop day. That's like this is the day after a new attraction opened up, and there's nobody there at 4 p.m. The new attraction has a 20-minute wait. So
I would expect that those May the 4th guys will be back over there in order to see the newest update to the attraction.
That's my thing. My thing is like if you loved May the 4th so much and you were there for May the 4th and you were like all excited, for Star Wars for May the 4th, why aren't you excited for this? Why aren't you there for this? And like when you look at the crowds that they showed for when Mandalorian and Grogu Smuggler's Run opened up, I'm like, I bet you those are all influencers.
It kind of sounds like it because it's like, why aren't they there now? And they were there for like Muppets, for example. Like Muppets was absolutely huge response. They were there for Animation Courtyard. A lot of people there having a fun time with those characters out and about. They just weren't at this area of the park, and that has got to be concerning. And even from an operations standpoint, you'd like to spread those crowds around. They simply were not there. They were at Toy Story Land instead. What does that tell you?
Mm-hmm. Well, no super chats at the moment. We'll stop in between the next story to get whatever super chats come in, Vash. But we've got to keep moving because we've got a heck of a story about Disney Springs and Disney Springs disrespecting law enforcement. Let's take a look.
It's showtime! Straight from the heart of the park.
Disney Springs and Walt Disney World stirred some controversy this week when it did not allow entry for police officers who were wearing law enforcement logos on their shirts. They were told they'd have to either take them off, turn them inside out, or find or patronize shops and restaurants elsewhere. We're going to talk about it today on That Park Place. Vash, this is a rough one. Like, I don't know what and this story is fascinating to me because not only does this happen, but then a thing that never happens as a result. Disney admits it was wrong and apologizes.
Yeah. This was a crazy story right here. We got a lot of twists and turns. But to set this up, apparently there was a get together of some kind of like a conference, right?
It was a national conference. It was
yes. And these officers.
The IPTM Symposium on Traffic Safety was in Orlando.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I forgot. I was like, it's not fire. It's not police. It's traffic safety. And a lot of officers actually came off from their shifts, with their full get-ups there in order to meet the other officers there because apparently they were very excited about seeing, officers from all over the nation actually for this event right here. So that's why they were actually going in uniform like they were. But
I don't
apparently
even know if they
that
were
was a
in full
no-go.
uniform. What I saw was polos and conference attire that displayed insignias of law enforcement. Like, I don't think they were. Were they? I don't know. Did you see any photos? Were they like fully uniformed police officers? Because I couldn't find any photos of that.
I heard some varying reports as well. I heard the polos were there. Logos were
Polos
actually
definitely.
present. I'm sure there must have been at least somebody maybe out in full uniform. But in this case, I'll go ahead and agree with you, Marvin. Perhaps they weren't even in the full getup, but still, well,
It's
go ahead
possible.
and read what actually happened.
Yeah, so according to multiple reports, Disney Springs security told the officers they could not enter unless the logos were covered or the shirts were turned inside out. One anonymous officer told News 6, "We were not allowed to enter wearing law enforcement related clothing." Another officer expressed frustration that attendees from around the country simply wanted to enjoy their free time after the conference events. The situation then escalated quickly after conference organizers reportedly warned attendees to avoid wearing any law enforcement branded clothing if they planned to visit Disney Springs. That message spread rapidly among officers attending the event and eventually caught the attention of Florida Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins. Collins
Right.
then personally went to Disney Springs to confront security management over the situation. According to reports, he secured assurances that officers would no longer be blocked from entering while wearing standard conference polos or department logos. The fact that the issue escalated to the office of Florida's lieutenant governor made the story significantly more damaging for Disney than a typical guest complaint, because Disney has already spent years navigating political tensions in Florida, specifically against Governor Ron DeSantis. And the optics of law enforcement officers being turned away from Disney Springs over police insignias created immediate backlash online. I mean, this was crazy. What makes it particularly notable, though, Vash, is Disney's response. Rather than doubling down or issuing some kind of vague corporate statement, Disney reportedly admitted security had been too conservative in applying the policy and acknowledged that officers should not have been denied entry. The company also apologized and stated it looked forward to welcoming the affected guests back in the future. Now, that's a direct admission that is relatively uncommon for Disney, especially in such a politically charged situation. Typically, Disney will opt for those carefully worded statements or avoid any kind of outright acknowledgement of wrongdoing. But in this case, the company moved quickly to claim the controversy before it spiraled any further. And despite the apology, several officers told local media they no longer had any interest in visiting Walt Disney World during their stay. That reaction highlights the broader issue Disney now faces. Even though the company corrected the situation quickly, the story fed into an already growing perception among some critics that Disney has become increasingly disconnected from large portions of the public, including law enforcement and conservative audiences. Vash, I mean, it's not a good look. And the fact that the lieutenant governor got involved, I think that's why Disney begged right off. Because the last time they tangled with DeSantis and the Florida state government, they lost, they lost Reedy Creek.
Yeah, last Reedy Creek, yeah. And I mean, juxtapose this with maybe that gubernatorial candidate that was actually the Starbucks in Disney Springs and how that whole thing went down right there. This was a very different response here. And look, it might very well have to do with the governor's office, no question about that. And obviously that's a very tangled history there. But I will say we are seeing more of these statements actually come out from the Walt Disney Company, which is surprising, not relating to, or I should say not restricted to events like this, but also to what actually happened in San Diego there with that raid that we actually saw, in which a couple of, employees or cast members on those ships were actually, arrested and so forth. We saw Disney actually come out on that and say, hey, look, listen, we don't actually necessarily agree with this behavior, working with law enforcement, etc., something that they haven't previously done. So to actually get to the forefront on this, I think, Marvin, maybe this is kind of something new for the Josh Giamara era, right? Maybe Thomas Moslem and, everything on down saying, hey, we're going to be a little bit more optics focused. And when we do make a mistake, we're going to acknowledge it and actually apologize. Something we would never have seen in the Bob Iger era.
Well, I think in the Bob Iger era, they purposely created those optics because he wanted to be seen as a major player in the Democratic Party and he wanted to run for president. Josh Giamaro, I think, just wants to run the Disney company. And so because of that, he's like, we have to fix our optics here. I'm fascinated to see what's going to happen in just a few days when June hits, whether or not Pride is going to take over Disney World again.
Yeah.
Because the last couple of years, it's been very subdued. And like it's almost like Disney is trying to like find the center again. But I
Hmm.
mean, kicking law enforcement officers out of and those security personnel, like you got to wonder, like, did they have a grudge against law enforcement? Like, what exactly happened there? Because why would you? It's a guy wearing a polo that has an insignia on it. Why would you tell him he can't come in?
Yeah, I mean, and the citations of confusion, it's a little weird to have said that. Like, I understand there are strict guidelines for law enforcement personnel and where they can actually be on property and so forth. We see that a lot at Disneyland, for example, right there. And there have been some conflicts related to that as well. But for something like this, I mean, to have handled it in this way was really eye-opening. It's like one step forward, two steps back, right? I think at Disneyland they had a pretty good Memorial Day weekend showing of different events and so forth. They actually invited, I think, 100 members of the military from the Navy and Marines and so forth. And they had a flyover. And Thomas Moslem was there. Josh Duhamel was there. It was actually a pretty big event. And it's like, okay, you know what? This is a very interesting position to take on this whole thing. Obviously, we saw Soaring Across America, so it's kind of like, okay, we're heading in the right direction, and something like this happens. And it's like, honestly, how could you have ever let this happen?
Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, there was kind of a happy ending here. Disney did admit fault, but you know what? It may have been too little too late for law enforcement officers trying to enjoy a day at Disney Springs. Okay, Vash, we got Archer Merchant for $2 in the chat. Says, wouldn't it be funny if Backrooms did better? I think there's actually a really good chance Backrooms does better than Mandalorian and Grogu this weekend. Well, it all depends on what the drop off is going to be, right? Is it going to have a 60+% drop off this weekend at the box office?
Yeah.
Because that's going to be the real test.
Yeah, you have a couple of films coming out. One being Scary Movie, the other one being Masters of the Universe, and not long after that, I think, is Toy Story. So, in terms of legs, it does have an A- cinema score, which could suggest that it has some legs there. It's not really looking good, especially with these numbers dropping off as harshly as they are, as aggressively as they are, when compared to the Solo numbers. I think that was the real kind of big eye opener. Like, oh, this really doesn't have legs, does it? Which is really a shame. And for all those people hoping for a better box office result, I think this thing is going to land anywhere between 420, 480, something like that. Way short of that 500 to 600 mark that they need to have to break even.
Yep, absolutely. We were saying probably around 600 because Valiant noted that in the 166.4 million that is being cited, that apparently does not include the salaries of a lot of the major players, including Pedro Pascal, Jon Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy. So
not the above the line talent.
Yeah, not all the above the line talent. So it's likely that the costs are actually quite higher. But we got to get back, Vash, because there's a major change going on in Disneyland.
There we go. One more for the top. Triple decker, just how you like it.
Wow, thanks, Mr. Walt.
You enjoy it.
We will.
Pin traders beware. Disneyland is cracking down on you, banning large displays and putting an end to a practice, Vash, that has been going on for decades. And we're going to talk about it today on That Park Place. Okay, Vash, Disneyland has changed its pin trading policy and restricted large displays. This is by Cham Lee from thatparkplace.com. Disneyland has introduced new pin trading rules that changes how guests display and exchange collectible pins inside the resort. The updated policy allows guests to trade pins only with lanyards or small handheld pin trading accessories. Disneyland has explicitly banned the use of benches, chairs, or tables for pin displays. The revised guidelines appeared on Disneyland's official website in May of 2026, and according to the official pin trading policy, guests may continue trading throughout the resort if they follow the new rules. The policy also bans extra display materials such as lights, signs, and decorative setups. Guests who violate the guidelines could face removal from Disneyland property.
Yeah, but they would set
So,
up lights. They would
yeah.
set up lights. They would have all
Lights?
kinds of stuff.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's Marvin. It's a different animal out here. You've got
No,
people
but you know what?
going
Like
there.
so in Epcot, there was an area in Future World where people would set up displays. Like they would have the big, huge boards, and they would have like the giant things with all the pins, and like the big books. They would take these giant books of pins, and just like people would come up to these tables and sift through them and trade. And it was like every single day, people were there doing this. So was it the same thing at Disneyland? Because that actually sounds like, I mean, if there's sets involved, then that sounds like it might be a bit of a different animal.
Yes, that's absolutely involved. You had, I mean, obviously we had the binders, obviously we had these big pin boards, but what people would also do is they would bring in this kind of luggage arrangement almost, where they would have like a entire suitcase on wheels, essentially filled up with multiple stacks of pins, dragging those in, and then taking up benches, obviously, and really creating an environment. I've heard it's almost like a swap meet. And it's interesting. There's a comment here in a video that I was watching in order to prepare for this. Former CM pin traders would often time monopolize benches, trash can tops, anything that they can to set their pin books on. Sometimes all seating and tables would be taken over by one pin trader, while the other traders would just stand there and take up even more spaces. Plus, insider pin trading fighting would get out of hand, which it did. I do remember a couple of incidents in which you had some very upset pin traders, let's say. I mean, it was absolutely insane, and there was certainly a culture surrounding it. There were people maybe making it into a kind of a small-time business and so forth. I mean, it's starting to really kind of get out of hand. And so with these new rules actually being in place, some of that pin trading culture that I think turned a little bit toxic, for lack of a better term. And some of the just behavior, I think, really kind of goes away with this. It's very, very interesting, Marvin. Obviously, you want a little bit of that culture because you want to have pins be sold on a regular basis. But how far is too far, and them kind of backing away from maybe people that are their most loyal fans? It's a very interesting thing here.
I can't imagine this is going over well with people that have kind of like, I'm just like, I never got into the pin trading thing, Dan. Like I tried once. Like I bought one of those like box of random pins off of Amazon. It comes with like 200 pins, right? Just randomly. And like I got the lanyard and I went and tried to like I got really bored with it really fast. But there's like an entire community that has risen around this.
Huge, and it's quite interesting if you look at the history of pin trading. I think George Kalogridis comes up with the idea in the 1990s after having visited, I believe it was the Winter Olympic Games somewhere. He's like, "Ooh, let's go ahead and take that back to Disney." And obviously, he was at one point the president of Disneyland and the president of Walt Disney World. So it's very kind of interesting if you actually trace back that history there. But Marvin, they have produced so many pins at Disney. Oh, yeah. They have actually lost count of how many pins they've produced.
Wow.
It's that many. Yeah, it's just absolutely insane. Man.
That is insane. Jeff Elms here saying, I'm sure those people fight over their spot too. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. People,
yes.
Like, it's like staking out your claim at the gold mine, like for pan and gold.
Extremely territorial. There's no question. And I shared you a link, a Reddit link actually, Marvin, in the private chat over there, in which it shows what that pin setup looks like today. And a lot of people in that Reddit thread, this was I think posted 5 days ago, were very, very excited about the prospect of these pin traders with their kind of designated area being removed in place with something like this, with something that's a little bit more. Yeah, this is put on by the company itself.
Yeah, this is Disney doing it.
Yes, and a lot of people were excited that this is now the new setup. And
because people were kind of excited about that, they weren't like angry about it.
No, a lot of people, understood that it had really become toxic in this kind of very, corner of Frontierland right there. It's kind of at the entrance there, so you can't necessarily miss them. And it's just, it was like very swap meet vibes, and not in a good way. And so a lot of people were very excited that the setup had changed, as illustrated in this picture.
Because people didn't like what it had become.
No, no, not at all. I
How could
mean,
you?
it's
I mean, I saw. I mean, I wonder if they're going to roll this out in Walt Disney World because just the other day when I was at Epcot, I saw somebody leaving with their rolly bag full of pins. So I'm like, they're still doing this somewhere in Epcot. I just don't know where.
right, right.
It's like a daily occurrence too. People are coming with these giant binders, and they said, I can't imagine people setting up lights and signs though in
Yes.
Disneyland. That is
Yeah.
insane.
It's crazy. I mean, it really is.
I'm shocked it took Disney this long to crack down on that.
Yeah. Well, I think, they had cracked down on it a couple times. It was like, okay, well, you can't just take a random bench and like claim it for yourself, right? We're gonna have a designated pin area. Then it was like you can't take away random tables from guests and so forth. We're gonna have tables provided for you in that pin trading area. And so they kind of wrangled them a little bit, but this is a big move here, guys, to deny people the ability to bring in those huge notebooks, for example, and not actually take up a designated space within these parks. I think they're saying that you might be able to, pin trade with like a lanyard only in line or something, or throughout your Disney day. But, none of this kind of territorially taking an entire area and so forth dedicated just for this practice. I mean, it's a big cultural shift, especially for those big time pin traders. And I do wonder, Marvin, just how bad it may have gotten to force their hand in doing something like this, because we know that there was a lot of stuff that was actually happening with the Thomas Muslim area, in which they were putting the guests first and so forth, and in which they were altering some of their procedures, policies, and so forth in order to accommodate the greater subset of guests and all of that. And I think in that valuation, this was it, which is really, really interesting. We've seen like the removal of the magic bands from Disneyland, which is very, very interesting. I think Thomas Muslim came out and said, look, only 7% of people actually use those magic bands. So why are we dedicating?
Is that true? 7% of people were using them? That's insane.
Disneyland.
Right. Disneyland.
Versus like Walt Disney World, for example, where 55% are using those magic bands, which is why you'll still see magic bands at Walt Disney World. But it was kind of like, look, if in fact we're dedicating so many resources to just 7% of guests, couldn't we better use those resources towards other things? They got rid of the spinning function on Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. This is a signature feature of that attraction, and it was like, look, we can have more guests be put through the attraction with higher capacity and lower maintenance, and we can have smaller guests and so forth actually be on that attraction without any issue. So they are certainly making a lot of moves in Disneyland in order to accommodate the greater subset of guests, and it's really interesting to see them do this.
Right, absolutely. By the way, you can trade pins with cast members whenever you want. They also, I don't think they can refuse a trade.
I don't think so.
Like if you want one that they have and you give them one, they have to give it to you.
Right.
But that's also because they're not really theirs. Like from what I understand from talking to cast members, there's literally just a big thing of pins in the back, and they just take the ones that they're going to have for the day from that. And those are just the traders. But and
I want to say, Marvin, they relaunched pin trading because it wasn't a feature that came back immediately following the COVID closures. I think it had to be relaunched officially in 2022, 2023, somewhere around that. I can't quite remember when exactly. Maybe somebody going to check and let me know. But when they did, the merchandise department said that they had to kind of retrain cast members in order to pin trade effectively, I guess, right? Because a lot of cast members didn't actually know what pin trade was all about, how it worked, all of that. So they actually had to go through a training course or process to get some of these cast members trained up on how it all worked. But the merchandise team spent a considerable amount of time on the re-rollout of pin trading. And so to see the company, at least in Disneyland, shift so heavily, it must have gotten real bad.
Have you ever heard of people like actually charging money for the pins as part of a trade? Like, okay, well, okay, you could trade me that one for this one, but you also have to give me $20.
Yeah, I've
There's, like,
heard of this.
I could totally see that grift happening, and Disney would be livid at that.
No, absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
just gave them
And-
$20 that you could have given us?
Right. And I think some of that was going on because, a lot of people would have, these kind of side hustles or these kind of small businesses established around this pin trading. So I'm sure, Marvin, that was going on. Now, if you do that on Disney property, go ahead.
Go and Shogi's seen it. Seen it happen, Marvin. Yeah. Those pin binder people were running full scams, and I have no problem with kicking out the pin scalpers.
Right. Right. And if I'm telling you, if Disney catches you doing that, oh boy, is that bad news for you. But I'm sure, Marvin, I'm sure what's going on. Go and Shogi being a Disneyland regular right there. Yeah. I mean, I can almost say with full certainty that absolutely is taking place. And maybe one of the reasons why they were like, no more.
Absolutely no more. Yep. Well, guys, pin trading is going to continue, but if you want to have elaborate displays and signage and whatnot, make a spectacle of yourself, you're gonna have to take that plan and put a pin in it. I make them up like as we go along. Like, I don't come with them prepared, so sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
Pin in it, chef's kiss, Marvin. Thank you.
Ken Reihard for 2. So is the pin trading run by the Disneyland gangs? Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Like we're the Ducks.
Ken Reihard is referring to these guys.
Wait. Are you about to tell me that there are actually Disneyland gangs?
There were Disneyland gangs for a bit there. For a 10-year period. I'm telling you, Marvin, they would wear these kind of vests with patches on them like an MC would and hang out in various areas of Disneyland. And there were territorial battles between them, Marvin. It was crazy. Disneyland's a different animal, Marvin. It's a different place.
I didn't think that a story about gangs could get gayer than West Side Story. But could you imagine? Just being in a Disneyland gang.
It was a thing. I'm telling you, it was a thing. Look, guys, in the chat right now, look
what
up
what were they called? Please tell me what
they
were
called. I don't know quite anybody what they were called. I didn't track it super closely, but there were territorial fights. Again, they had their own specific
actual
patches.
Physical fights. People were physically fighting because they were like, Toontown belongs to the Goofs.
Yeah. Well, Tomorrowland, but yes, that absolutely went on, and they would have their own patches that they would have for members, like an MC would, all right, like a motorcycle club would, and it was a thing, Marvin. I'm telling you, it was a thing.
I'm just seeing a blue screen in front of my eyes right now. It's just
yeah.
Marv's brain just went error 404 file not found. I cannot, man. I cannot. With this, they had to alter. I believe they had to alter the dress code and trespass a couple people. Yeah, to tamp down on this because it became I remember walking past Space Mountain and so forth, and you would just see these guys all huddled around. They would have all their patches on. They were a thing, and oh yeah. So it's like a Donald Duck one, and like a Donald Duck gang. Instead of being the T-Birds, they'd be the D-Birds.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. Yeah,
with Donald Duck on the back.
Right, and they would have all their patches and so forth, and maybe they would have pins on them and stuff like that. That was a thing. So,
just how white were these people?
Yeah, they were pretty pale.
Imagine,
not a lot of diversity within those gangs.
Imagine the D-Birds and the Goofs trying to bring their beef onto the streets where the Crips and the Bloods are.
Hey yo,
Ken Reihard says the Neverlanders.
Yeah, that may have been one of them actually. Yeah.
Was it real? Oh, I thought he was joking.
No, I think he's right. I think that was one of them.
White rabbits. Oh, please tell me that's real.
I think Ken Reihard knows. It's this little look.
Chef Eddie says I once saw a new member being jumped into the Dapper Dance. Hold on, I gotta look this
Go
up.
and Shogi, the gangs were wild. Yes, they really were a thing. So if you look up like Disneyland gangs, Patches Vest or something like that.
Gosh, I'm looking at it right now.
There you go.
The Disney Resort Imbeciles were one of them.
Uh-huh.
The Turbo the Turbo Juggins.
Oh, Kaloth actually has a super chat and the names of some gangs.
Kaloth for 5, the Hitchhikers, the Jungle Cruisers, the Hidden Mickeys, Walt's Misfits, and the Main Street Elite.
Main Street Elite, I remember. Yeah.
Main Street Elite. Wait, so these are real?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I refuse.
I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. Vixen Sky, no, she googled it. I'm telling you, like,
oh my gosh, Main Street Elite, it's there. And they're wearing like biker vests, but they're not leather. They're denim.
No, they're denim vests. They're denim vests with patches all over them.
I have never been a bully ever in my life. I want to put these guys' heads in toilets.
Yeah,
I'm starting to get it. I look at somebody with a Main Street Elite jacket on, and I'm just like, your lunch money belongs to me. Like,
they called themselves 1%ers and stuff like that. I mean, it was a deal, Marvin. I'm telling you, like,
and Disney had to, like,
was not lying
and put a stop to it.
Yeah, they had to put a stop to it. Yeah,
White Rabbit, that's a real thing.
Yep.
Hold on. I'm gonna actually.
He's gonna look some of this stuff up for you because it got very out of hand. I mean, they were very territorial.
Were there actual like physical altercations?
Yes, physical altercations between the gangs. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, they have to change the rules.
This is wild. Oh, Vice has an article on it. Here's some more photos of Disneyland's awkward gangs.
Yep.
Oh, it's so awkward. It's so cringy. It's so weird. This might have to be its own video of us talking about the Disneyland gangs because, my gosh. Hold on. Earlier this week, we ran a story about social clubs that hang out in Disneyland. We continue to find the phenomenon fascinating. So when photographer sent us some photos he took, we felt compelled to post them. All right, so let's see here.
That's them.
Oh, no.
That's pretty light, by the way. Yeah.
Disney's villains? Like, come on, man.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
We're the villains. You know they walked around like this, right? Oh,
exactly.
My gosh. All right, so that's the Main Street Elite. Look, they've got a little sign.
Yep. And they would have custom patches.
There's a kid in a stroller in the Main Street Elite. Did he get jumped into the gang? Like,
maybe.
This little girl's got a pink Main Street Elite jacket on. Do you did people have to like do you think people were like really trying hard to get into these gangs and like being hazed into them? Oh my gosh.
I think they were their own initiation rituals because obviously they had to produce patches for their members. That was a process.
The Disney Resort Imbeciles.
Very
more Main Street Elite. Turbo Juggins.
Yeah.
I don't even know which one this guy. Oh, he looks like he's in Main Street Elite.
And notice
Main Street
where
Elite
they
seems
would
to be the biggie, huh?
Yeah, Main Street Elite was probably the largest one because that was Main Street. But look at where they're hanging out there. That's all by design. There's a reason why they're in that area.
What, Main Street?
Well, no, I mean that's their territory.
Oh, that's their turf.
Yes.
Well, look at this. The Turbo Juggins are encroaching on their turf.
Uh-oh. Can't do that.
I'm sure this was a wild, right here, the Disney Resort Imbeciles. I mean, they don't know where they're going. They're imbeciles. The Mickey's Pink Ladies. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Fabulous. Wait, I could do better. I could do better.
plus size park hoppers the a Disneyland gang too?
It was fabulous.
There you go. That's the one.
Did you ever see I think it was like it might have been a stand-up thing where I was talking about the plus size park hoppers, and he was like, my wife thought she saw them and she wanted to like go up and like say hi to them because she was a fan of their channel. And I was like,
Oh.
wait, are you sure? Because if you go up to them and you ask, are you the plus size park hoppers, and they're not, that's really bad.
That's a good point. Always thinking ahead there.
Spring 91 Bear for 2 says, Marv, I see you're at a new place. Yes, I am in somewhere sunny USA right now. We are getting ready for tonight's big pro face reveal and a whole week of activities going on. Kalioth for 2 says, it's our graft, not yours, the Disney pin economy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's our graft, but
we got that one from Kalioth already. Go and Shogi, member for 24 months, says if Disney had extra large lockers, these denim dorks would be shoved in them.
yeah.
Oh, extra large size lockers. That was
Chef Eddie. I guess you never heard of those Smash Skyliners. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Oh, that was Go and Shogi.
Oh yeah. Go and Shogi.
Bruce Newhouse for 5 says instead of riding motorcycles, they rode the carousel. You should have seen the drive-bys with straws and spitballs. Oh. Break yourself, fool!
This is our house.
When you turn the bubble wand sideways, it means it's the kill shot. What we got here? Looks like some Main Street elites have wandered where they shouldn't be. Huh?
Oh man,
Michael Jackson's got to come try to bring peace to them with "Beat It."
That's the new music video right there. That's the one.
Go and Shogi says throws a broken unicorn lollipop between 3 people. How bad do you want to be a Neverlander?
We're gonna have tryouts. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Marvin, I'm telling you, it was so absolutely insane.
It's so lame. All right.
It happened. I was there.
So wait, so you saw the Main Street Elite?
Oh yes, I saw multiple.
Did you did you like back up? Did you like give them a wide berth? Like, don't mess with them.
Well, I wasn't wearing.
Like, we don't go on their turf.
Well, as long as you weren't wearing another person's, patches, you were fine. So,
but like you have to pass through Main Street to get anywhere else. So
right.
Like Main Street Elite just taking out everybody that came in.
Well, I'm sure it was like, okay, you can pass through, but if you loiter, that's what's up.
Keep moving. Keep moving, imbeciles. I know I'm not seeing a Mickey's Pink Lady on Main Street. This here's for the elite.
That's right. We'll show you what happens.
Oh.
I'm telling you. It was a thing. I'm telling you guys, it was a thing.
A little lost, huh?
Oh man.
Oh, Mr. Baggins idiots is still across the trolley lines. We don't go
you don't want to be on the wrong side of the tracks. Yeah.
We don't go to the bad part of Toontown.
That's where all those black and whites are. Color black and whites.
Yes. Oh no. All right. I just is my nose bleeding? Like, because I feel like I had an aneurysm throughout this segment.
I mean, to describe it years later it was a different world, man, different time.
Texas A412, member for 12 months, says do a Disney gang video. I feel like we just did. Like,
yeah.
Maybe we need to actually explore. Maybe next week I need to just request a segment where we just explore the history of the Disneyland gangs.
I'm all for it. Marvin.
So, oh my gosh. Oh, this is so insane, man. All right. I I cannot believe that things like this existed.
They did.
All right. Well, we've got more. We've got one more story to get to today before we send you over to Vash Sky Park Cast. Let's talk about it right now, guys, because the cast of Toy Story 5, well, just got a little badder.
I just can't wait for 3 days of you and me.
First, it was the Super Bowl halftime show. Now, Bad Bunny comes to Toy Story 5. The rapper is now going to be joining the cast as a toy called Pizza with Sunglasses. Let's talk about it today on That Park Place. Vash, as if they couldn't have picked anything more divisive, it's the guy who tore the country in half with the Super Bowl halftime show.
I saw this news. I still can't believe it.
I still can't either. According to here from People magazine, Bad Bunny is joining the Toy Story universe in the most unexpected yet fitting role. In the highly anticipated Toy Story 5 in theaters June 19th, Bad Bunny, born Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, will voice a toy who looks like a slice of pizza wearing sunglasses. Why is that fitting? I don't understand.
He'd be like a bunny character?
Sunglasses? I occasionally wear sunglasses. Like, the character is indeed named Pizza with Sunglasses, according to a release from Disney. Quote, effortlessly cool and mysterious, Pizza with Sunglasses is a member of a small but mighty community of forgotten toys that live in an abandoned backyard shed, Disney said in its release. Bad Bunny, 32, quote, has a voice cameo in the role. Puerto Rican singer-songwriter has shown off his acting chops before in 2022's Bullet Train, last year's Caught Stealing, and Happy Gilmore 2, and on Saturday Night Live. Among his other upcoming screen projects is the historical drama Puerto Rico and the directorial debut of Renee Perez Hoglar, better known as rapper Residente. Andrew Stanton, longtime writer of Disney and Pixar's beloved Toy Story franchise, is director of the fifth film, which brings back Oscar-winning Randy Newman to score it, as well as cast members Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joan Cusack, and Tony Hale as Forky. The new movie's voice cast adds into the mix Greta Lee as a tech toy tablet named Lilypad, Conan O'Brien as a potty training toy Smarty Pants, Craig Robinson as GPS Hippo toy Atlas, Sherry Rabara as toy camera Snappy, and Chris Marshall in an undiscovered part. Also newly unveiled, Alan Cumming will play a role in Toy Story 5 as Evil Bullseye, the playtime alter ego of Woody's faithful horse toy, who otherwise does not speak. I am not excited in any way, shape, or form for Toy Story 5, and the presence of Bad Bunny has done little more to gain my enthusiasm.
The more I see of it, the more I'm disinterested, which is very, very sad. Obviously, we saw Woody with a bald spot and everything like that, but Marvin, I think you...
And he's fat. Did you see Woody's fat, too? Like, he's got a big gut?
I was just about to say, yeah, the big gut, which apparently is from his stuff settling, but it's kind of like, really? So our heroes are, like you said, Marvin, out of shape and old, and...
Your hero is old, out of shape, and pathetic. Where have we heard this one before?
It's so crazy, and I guess
they're just going back to the well. This is Luke Skywalker. This is Han Solo. This is Indiana Jones. They just keep doing it. They've got one story in modern Hollywood, and they keep telling it over and over and over again.
Absolutely, and now it's the cameos, right? So we saw this in Mandalorian and Grogu with Lizzo and Jack Black and so forth, and now it's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and get Bad Bunny involved, and it's like, where are we going here? Like, this is just absolutely absurd. Previously, when it came to the inclusion of some of these characters, at least you had actors who were, maybe past their prime, and maybe people who were, classic personalities in the Hollywood industry and so forth. It was really kind of cool to see them included. But this is a very contemporary artist in a movie that's supposed to stand the test of time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Troy Gustafson asked, by the way, does he speak English? I think you're asking the right questions here. Because what are the odds that Pizza with Sunglasses only speaks Spanish?
Does Buzz Lightyear have to activate his Spanish mode in order to interface?
Troy Gustafson also asked, shouldn't he just be a bad bunny?
That's
wouldn't
what I
that be
thought.
more appropriate if he was just a bunny with sunglasses? Like,
Right?
that's
Shouldn't
too
it
on
be
the
like
nose,
a bunny?
Vash. No, so you have to understand. If you don't understand the subtle nuance of why it's absolutely perfect that he's a slice of pizza, well, I'm not going to be the one to explain it to you. Do your research. Do your research.
I had to check in on my Bad Bunny lore and so forth and get the connections here. I don't know why it's fitting, but like you said, weird. But wouldn't it have been interesting? Would have been interesting to see him as the Energizer Bunny. Actually, that would have been kind of an interesting thing right there, because obviously it's like music related. Whatever. We're going with this.
And then also they were like, you know what we need in this 5th installment? Bullseye should talk, but not just talk. What if he was like really aggressively gay? Let's make him Alan Cumming.
Well, I mean, the proclivities of toys escapes me, but it's very interesting, Marvin, because we're seeing some interesting quotes come out of this whole thing. I think Andrew Stanton just recently had an interview with somebody in which he was asked, like, why'd you come back and so forth, and he said, usually I don't use any language here, and I won't now, but it's kind of relevant to this. It's like, I was worried somebody would screw it up, but obviously more colorful language there.
He F-bombed in an interview about Toy Story. Well done.
Which is like bizarre.
And like, I'm not for nothing, dude, but like, didn't you mess it up like enough with Toy Story 4, or do you actually think that was a good movie?
Awful.
I would be more worried that you are just creatively bankrupt at this point and you don't know how to tell these stories anymore. And then he said that the first draft of the script didn't even have Woody in it, which goes to show you, I guarantee you, Woody is going to be so ancillary to the plot. Like Woody, you are going to be able to pull Woody out of this movie and it will be the exact same movie.
I think you're right, and I was stunned to hear that. I was like, "Whoa, you're going to have a Toy Story entry, numbered, and not have Woody? That is absolutely insane." Maybe he got that.
Well,
go ahead.
And look who is the main character of this movie. It's not Woody and Buzz. This is a bait and switch, because we have heard, and everything that we have heard about this movie is this is Jesse's movie.
Right.
Jesse is the main character in this movie. They can put all the Woody and Buzz in the marketing they want, but from what we've heard, this is Jesse the movie.
Right. And so, I think this is absolutely a bait and switch, Marvin, because they know they know Woody and Buzz, I should say, is going to get butts in seats, right? They know that that duo, that dynamic duo that's endured for, since 1995? Yeah. Those are the toys that get you in. And so it's like, okay, well, we'll give you all that in the marketing material to try to say that these people are really in the movie, but in reality, it really is Jesse's movie, which I suppose I can understand, but it's just, they're simply not setting it up that way. And so, bait and switch for sure.
But that being said, Vash, I think this movie is going to make $1 billion.
Absolutely.
Or at least close to it.
No question.
Based on just the fact that how many people were in Toy Story Land last time I was there, plus the projections. I mean, they're calling for, 150 million domestic, I think, for the opening for this. So, I think this is going to do gangbusters. I really think so. I finally watched Inside Out 2 the other day. I had never seen it before. Mm-hmm. I actually really liked it.
Yeah. I mean, that film does not make over $2 billion at the box office without it resonating with at least somebody, right?
Which goes to show you, like, Pixar still has some good stories in them. I just don't think they have anything left in the tank when it comes to Toy Story. I think because when you have, I don't care how good your idea is, if your idea to continue the story is not better than the ending that you already put on the franchise, it's not a story worth telling. Because Toy Story 3 was the most perfect ending Toy Story could have ever gotten. And they got greedy and they were like, we have to keep going back to the well. And Toy Story 4 was a disaster.
Right.
Toy Story 4 was a complete character assassination of Woody.
Absolutely. And it really shows you just how limited they are because, with that first draft not actually featuring Woody, I think it's recognizing that nobody was very placated by what was actually featured in Toy Story 4. So it's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and I'm sure they're going to have some convoluted plot here in order to get him back into the fold. But it just shows you just how maybe out of life this franchise actually has, at least under the tutelage of this recent, cast of players for Pixar. And I have no idea where this thing goes. I mean, people are saying, Toy Story 6 and 7 are on the way.
Yeah, in Toy Story 6, they find a way to bring Andy back.
Yeah, you're bringing everybody else back. You might as well.
Because I feel like they're running out of options with Bonnie, I think.
Yeah. Because she gets
I don't even think it was ever necessary to age Andy up. Like, I don't know, man. Like, Toy Story was like, the first one was fun, and then all of a sudden it was like, now we want to make you think. And I'm like, that's not what I'm here for. I'm kidding. Toy Story 3 is great. Toy Story 3 is exceptional. And it is the most perfect ending I think that any movie trilogy has ever had.
Yes, I do agree with you. And actually, well, yeah, that's one. But providing a natural conclusion to these toys by actually having them be with another owner, I thought was really, really good, right? So obviously Jessie's big fear from number 2 is that she was abandoned, right, and by her owner. So to have all of these cast of characters that we've grown in love over all these years actually be handed off and so forth, and have this fitting ending, it was really it was too good. It was too perfect, and unfortunately, you enjoyed it, so obviously they had to ruin it, as you always say, Marvin.
People liked it, so it had to go.
It had to go.
Like the Bart Simpson meme every once in a while, where every time they take away something, I have a theory that I hope I'm wrong about.
Sure.
They're not going to defeat Tech in this movie because Tech is not going away.
Right.
So I don't think you defeat the lily pad. I think this movie ends with all the toys joining Woody out in the wild.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because I do agree with you. I don't think you beat Tech. Yeah. Because like you said, they're running out of Bonnie.
They'll bring Andy back for his wedding to a man. And then like they'll show that, and I'll just be sitting there in the audience. I'll be going, I knew it. The signs were all there.
Oh man. Oh, it's it's so sad to live in an era in which you have to see all of your characters and your favorite franchises destroy and crumble right in front of you. And I don't think this is an exception. Andrew Stanton coming back did have me optimistic, right? Because it's like, you know what? This is a guy who gets it. He was part of the original story group right there, created some amazing films of his own right. We're on the right track.
Yeah.
And then every single new thing I see from this Marvin is like, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. And now it's like, you know what? Maybe I'll just wait for this to come on streaming.
Oh, Bad Bunny's here. Okay. Not good.
But we are seeing a very interesting trend, Marvin. You were talking about the box office previously, and I think you are right. I think this will do over $1 billion. We have seen family entertainment, surprisingly enough, be the big box office winners over and over and over again these last couple of years. And so I think this movie has an absolutely killer chance to do really, really well at the box office. And unfortunately, because it will do that, well, maybe we get Toy Story 6 and 7 faster than we think.
We're definitely getting Toy Story 6. There's no way we're not. As long as people keep going to see these movies, they will keep making money. One of them has to bomb and I don't see that happening because it's Toy Story. So
I'm just waiting for the live action remake.
Oh no, that's definitely gonna happen.
It has to, right? We'll see about Moana. But
Andy will be a real kid, and the locations will all be real, but the toys will all be CGI.
Yes.
And still voiced by Tom Hanks and Buzz and Tim Allen and all of them.
Yep.
Which, I mean, look, if you're going to do that, you better still have Tom Hanks and Tim Allen because we've learned that it doesn't work to replace them.
Yeah. No Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans thing. He's got to have the two. It wouldn't surprise me, Marvin. I mean, this is the era we're in. They can't create new franchises. That's the problem. Yes, sequels wise, they do okay generally, but original films wise, I mean, both studios, whether it be Disney Feature Animation or Walt Disney Animation Studios and Pixar, they just can't get an original film to save their life. So what else are they going to do? You have to keep these people employed somehow. You might as well have them create, new iterations of their films.
Mm-hmm. I love that Lightyear was supposed to be like the movie that Andy saw in 1995. And I'm just like, yeah, this movie with the interracial gay couple in 1995 really hit the big screens.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. I don't think that necessarily was what was playing back there. And a lot of people said, like, if this is the movie that Andy saw, man, why did he ever?
Why did he want that Buzz Lightyear toy?
Buy Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, exactly. It's like, this would inspire me to turn away from this franchise altogether.
Yeah. All right, Vash. Well, Toy Story 5 is coming, and well, if based on this casting, it sounds like it's going to be bad. All right, we got a couple more super chats before we send everyone over to your show, the Vash Sky Parkcast. Actually, we just got the one. We got the first Dragon Queen for $2. Says rewiring lights. Back to lurking. Hugs for all. Thank you, Dragon Queen. Appreciate the hugs. And everyone go please subscribe to the First Dragon Queen's YouTube channel because she is awesome. Great supporter here on that Park Place, and we love to have her. Guys, tonight we are also going to be seeing, we're going to be seeing something very interesting tonight. We're going to be seeing Pro's face tonight live on the Pro Show. Pro goes on camera tonight at 8 p.m. That's going to be insane.
Was it 8? I thought he was doing it at 10.
Was he at 10?
Or 10 Eastern. I thought so. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I probably have the time wrong. Hold on, let me check real quick because we'll see if the
he might actually have it up. I really want to get this right because
I want to be right about it.
Well, people have been waiting for this.
Face reveal tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, 9 p.m. All right, so it's in the middle. It's in the middle between us. It's a big deal here, guys.
It is.
Yeah, I've had private conversations with Bro about this for years. Yep. So the culmination of all of that, it's going to be a big show.
Yep. We got Smiths and Sons in the chat for $2 saying Toy Story 7. Woody goes AWOL from the Salvation Army. Interesting. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
All for it. So it is. Yeah, everyone's saying 10 EST. It's not. I'm looking at it right now. It's 9. It's scheduled for 9. So
is the
normal time in the program happens. So
let me just make sure on my end because time zones and everything like that.
And like I have seen the studio. The studio looks. I can't wait for you guys to see the studio. It's going to be an incredible stream.
Yeah, really 9 Eastern. Marvin's right.
Yep. Vash, but you have got a crazy show coming up right now. We're going to be redirecting everyone over to it. Everyone, guys, you're saying 10 p.m. in the chat, but I'm telling you right now, YouTube says it's 9 p.m. So I don't know. It's either 9 or 10. I don't know.
It's 9.
Yeah.
I can tell you it's 9.
Vash, what do you got coming up on the show?
Absolutely. Vash Sky Parkcast. We have so many good things on our program right here. Some stories you may have heard here at the Basing That Park Place, but also, too, we have some interesting stories that, haven't necessarily gotten that much coverage. For example, the Garden Grove crisis that actually took place over the Memorial Day weekend right there that had 50,000 people in the Garden Grove area of California actually displaced. Well, it was right next to Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm. How did it affect those parks? How did it affect those people? My goodness gracious, you have got to tune in for this because it is wild what actually played out there. We also have Victoria and Albert's actually going up in price, which was very surprising. And maybe Disneyland is trying to encourage some of those magic key holders that they've had previously to come back. Don't know quite why. Maybe we'll get into that, finding out the reasons as to why they're giving perks and incentives to actually renew their passes. But it's something that I've never quite seen before. We'll cover that and so much more on Vash Sky Parkcast. Just stay tuned. You'll be redirected very shortly.
Yep, guys, thank you for joining us over on the M4 Empire. We got Culture Crossfire tomorrow morning. Myself and Real Life Fake Wizard on both of our channels, so keep an eye out for that. And then the M4 cast tomorrow night. And of course, join us tonight for the big pro face reveal. All right, Vash, that does it for this week. We're sending everyone over to Vash Sky Parkcast. Thank you guys very much. Please make sure to like and subscribe to that Park Place for all the news that should be fun.